Ben Bova is a best-selling author and a six-time winner of the Hugo Award, and he's got a new book, and it's called Able One, and it's fiction, and let's hope it never becomes fact. He's joining us now on the WDIS Newsline. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, Dan.
You know, the premise of this book is all too realistic to me. It scares me.
Yeah, it's a thriller that is becoming closer and closer to the truth. Able One is about North Korea launching ballistic missiles with nuclear weapons on them, and a test plane that we're flying and testing that carries a big laser is ordered to go down and fly to North Korea and shoot down those missiles while they're being launched. This is something that could come true very soon.
Well, let me ask you, do you think we have airplanes with big lasers ready to shoot down missiles?
The Missile Defense Agency has just made a successful test of a Boeing 747 carrying a megawatt-class laser, and it shot down a ballistic missile last week. First time they've tested it against a real ballistic missile, and it worked beautifully.
Well, thank goodness for that. I'm glad to hear that. Now, how powerful was the laser on that plane?
It's about a megawatt, probably a little more powerful than that, but that's all that the Defense Department will admit to.
Okay, let's talk about the science of this thing. It's a laser beam, a highly concentrated beam of light. When it hits the missile, what does it do to the missile?
Well, you concentrate about a megawatt of energy onto something like the size of a quarter, and that burns right through the missile's skin and blows up the fuel tanks. You remember what happened to the Challenger space shuttle?
Oh, unfortunately, I do.
When one of its rocket engines burned through, it exploded.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what the laser does to a missile whose rocket engines are still burning. So the idea is to fly the plane as close as possible to the enemy's launching site, and when they launch, shoot the bird down. The laser strikes with the speed of light. Nothing in the universe moves faster. So even if you're hundreds of miles away, that laser beam will hit the missile before it moves a foot.
Now, how did you anticipate is your story based on research you did about what could happen? I mean, how did you come up with such a timely story?
In the first place, years ago, I worked in Massachusetts, in Everett, at a research laboratory where we invented the high-powered laser. I helped to set up a briefing in the Pentagon to tell the Department of Defense that lasers are no longer toys. We can build lasers powerful enough to shoot down missiles and airplanes. And they've been developing this ever since. It's been slow. You know, some presidents accelerated the program, like Reagan with his SDI Star Wars program. Other presidents have slowed it down. As a matter of fact, right now, the Obama administration is taking money away from the laser program. And I think this is a dreadful mistake.
You know, we're talking about lasers, and I think of the movie Goldfinger. Remember Goldfinger, when James Bond is laying on the table and the laser beam is moving towards him?
That's a little one.
That's just a little one.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
That laser output, you figure that was about 10,000 watts. We're now talking about 1 million watts and more.
Have we reached the point in technology where we have the death ray?
Well, the laser could be considered a death ray, although it's a weapon of pinpoint destruction.
Mm-hmm.
So that beam will take out a missile, but it won't do much worse than that. It would kill you if it hit you, but it's not like a weapon of mass destruction, like a nuclear bomb that could take out a whole city.
Is it going to be possible soon to have handheld lasers that can destroy tanks and armored vehicles and that sort of thing?
I doubt that they'd be handheld. You might get a laser onto a truck or an airplane.
So we haven't quite reached the level of Star Trek, huh?
Not really, no, with the handheld phasers.
Yeah.
You could put the laser into a handheld device, but the power system, the generator for the electricity would be much, much bigger.
Yeah, you can't strap something that can generate a megawatt on your back very well, can you?
Not yet.
Boy, the technology is so incredible now.
Yeah, but Able One is really about the people. It's a novel about the people in Washington, the Department of Defense, State Department, the White House, and about the engineers and technicians on board this plane who were suddenly ordered to go out to the Sea of Japan, and if the North Koreans launch any missiles, shoot them down.
Well, isn't it always the case that a good novel is about people?
Yes, that's what makes a good novel. That's what makes a good story.
Now, where can people get the book?
Oh, it's on sale in the bookstores, and you can get it through Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. It's available everywhere.
I just wonder if some people will read this and think, gee, is this really fiction?
It's fiction so far, but in a few months it might not be.
Oh, man, let's hope it stays fiction, huh?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very, very much for coming on WDIS. It's always a pleasure to talk with you, and I think you've done it again, another runaway bestseller here.
Well, thank you, Dan. It's always good to talk with you.
All right, take care, and best of luck with the book.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. That was 6-time Hugo Award winner Ben Bova talking about his latest book, Able One. It's a story about an American airplane with a gigantic laser beam sent out to shoot down North Korean missiles before they can do any harm. The missiles, of course, are equipped with nuclear warheads. As we said, it's only fiction. Knock on wood. You're tuned to 1170 AM WDIS.